my battle buddy, Sergeant Leon. He was a good friend of mine. We were very close. Sergeant Leon and I would spend countless hours just watching fights together and having a few beers, you know, when we were in the rear. And Sergeant Leon had just gotten back from his second deployment to Iraq, and he was self-medicating. He was drinking a lot, and you know, muster, he didn't show up to muster one morning, and you know, we really struggled with addressing PTSD in the military. You know, it was something that we didn't really consciously look for a name for it. We just kind of said, suck it up and move on. And a lot of us drank, you know. It was just, that was the common thing. You couldn't go to battalion for help. You know, you couldn't go see a battalion psychiatric staff member, because it's just, we've had that happen a few times, and Marines were getting admin sept. You know, the clause failure to adapt was a common label, and you'd get out and you wouldn't have any support. So you didn't go there, and you certainly, I mean, being in the military, you don't go to a civilian therapist. I mean, everything is taken and contained within the military. So when the source is, you know, insufficient, and it risks your livelihood, especially having a family, you don't do that. You know, you drink, and you sit in the barracks and you drink, and you get loud and obnoxious, and you hang out with other Marines who are feeling the same thing, but nobody talks about it. So Leon decided he had enough, and he took his own life. We found him in the barracks the morning of. He didn't show up for muster, and we got BEQ to go up into his room and open the door, and there he was. He'd hanged himself, and it really didn't occur to me that that would have been a sign of PTSD at the time, but it was the nature of his suicide that really shook things up for me. And it was, he had a drinking problem, and I'd assumed that once NCIS came in and did the investigation that they would find alcohol in his blood, you know, some trace, and there was nothing. He did it stone cold sober, you know. Then it started me off on the path of, you know, what is PTSD, and how deep does that rabbit hole go? And just started collecting answers from there, and it really pointed me in finding out what was already in existence, what was there to treat PTSD, and how was that working. And then I started looking for alternatives. So ayahuasca is a plant-based medicine. It was used by the shamans in Peru. So it's been in their culture for thousands of years, literally. And it's been used by their culture specifically to gain information about nature and about the nature of reality. And it hasn't really been used for a cure since 1994. Before that, it wasn't really considered a cure medicine. It was more of a way to access information. And the shaman used this in a very precise way. So ayahuasca comes from basically what's sitting around us right now, which is plants. It's a very basic, you can mix it with some things based on the shaman's preference, just like we brew, you know, beer here. There's different hops that we use, but overall the active ingredient is DMT, which is, again, something that's in all of us. We are all illegal walking substances right now. And so that's what ayahuasca is. The shaman is over there. You see him playing his little flute. He's taking care of the room. You relax. And I did, and I settled into it. Yeah, whatever it was, I felt this peace, like I was in the womb again. It was very, Stan Groff talks about this kind of stuff, and I had that feeling of feeling protected and nurtured. And I realized that this is something that I never really had as a kid. So that was a profound experience to just be able to feel that, and just complete, utter relaxation after that, and focus and clairvoyance and clarity. and compassion, more importantly. Like, this is a very feminine area that I was touching, and clearly whatever that area was conducive to my own being. And so I realized that, you know, this is like the other side of the coin of what I was, and I embraced that, and I saw the value in that, and it was very heartwarming and very loving, and it was just this balance that put me back into a really, like, a balanced place, and it was beautiful. Yeah. It's so weird, like 240-pound man saying it's so beautiful, you know? But I don't mind, you know? I know my place. It's really helped me that way, and then just this complete joy and celebration of this awakening and this understanding, you know, came over me, and it just, the plants or whatever that was said, get up and enjoy the moment. I mean, you've been doing the work. You're tired, like, lay down, relax, you know, and enjoy it. Because if ayahuasca can do anything for veterans, it shows them that there is a peace that you have within you, and you can cultivate that peace, and you can find it, and it is possible. It's a glimpse of that. And to me, that's all the hope somebody needs when they're that low.